The rain-slicked streets of New York City swallowed me whole that first night, my backpack digging into shoulders raw from the Greyhound's endless rattle, heart pounding like it might crack my ribs. I'd fled Willow Creek at dawn, whispers of freak and sinner chasing me out the door, but nothing prepared me for the stranger's voice cutting through the downpour. "You look like you've seen a ghost. Or maybe you are one." He stood under a flickering street lamp, umbrella tilted like a shield, eyes locking onto mine with a pull I couldn't name, the kind that said he'd been waiting for me all along. I jerked back, water streaming down my face, convinced the rumors had followed me across state lines. But he just smiled, slow and knowing, extending a hand that smelled faintly of coffee and city grit. "Name's Jamie. And trust me, kid, whatever chased you here, it doesn't stand a chance against this place." In that moment, as thunder cracked overhead, I didn't know he was the ghost from my past, the boy my town had branded poison, the one they'd sworn would ruin me. All I knew was that running had led me straight into his arms, and for the first time, stopping felt like survival. Willow Creek had been a cage of cracked sidewalks and Sunday sermons, where secrets festered like weeds in the churchyard. I was Alex Harper, 18 and unraveling, the son of a hardware store owner who preached tolerance but clutched his Bible like a grudge. My crime? A stolen glance at the quarterback during gym class, a blush that bloomed too bright under fluorescent lights. By junior year, the note started, "Fag," scrawled on my locker, giggles trailing me down Main Street like smoke. My best friend, Riley, tried to shield me, her fierce loyalty the only light in those gray days. But even she couldn't stop the flood when my dad found the poem I'd hidden in my drawer, words about a boy's laugh that twisted my gut into knots. "You're confused, son," he'd said, voice thick as the bourbon he nursed that night. "This ain't us. This ain't right." Mom just cried, her rosary clicking like accusations. Riley packed my bag herself, shoving in a photo of us three, me, her, and the creek where we'd dreamed of escaping. "Go to the city, Alex. Find your people." So I did, boarding that bus with $200 in my sock and a heart full of fractures. New York was supposed to be freedom, subways humming with strangers who didn't care, billboards promising reinvention. But freedom tasted like exhaust and regret when I stepped off at Port Authority, the crowd a blur of elbows and indifference. Jamie's apartment was a fifth-floor walk-up in Hell's Kitchen, walls papered in peeling band posters, a sagging couch that smelled of takeout and thrift store finds. We talked till the rain quit, him spinning tales of dive bars and drag shows, me spilling fragments of Willow Creek like shards of glass. He listened without pity, nodding at the right silences, and when I mentioned Riley's last text, "Be brave, weirdo," he pulled out his phone, showing a photo of his own escape. A Polaroid of him at 16, bruised lip and defiant grin, arms slung around a girl with pink hair. "Family's a funny thing," he murmured. "Sometimes they're the monsters under the bed." I crashed on his couch, dreaming of creeks and condemnations, waking to the scent of pancakes and the realization that safety could sneak up on you like dawn. Days blurred into a rhythm I hadn't known I craved. Jamie worked shifts at a queer bookstore called The Open Page, slinging recommendations on Audre Lorde and James Baldwin like lifelines. I'd tag along, shelving paperbacks while eavesdropping on customers' confessions, stories of coming out over Thanksgiving turkey or hiding rings under floorboards. One afternoon, a woman with silver-streaked braids bought a stack of memoirs, her voice cracking as she said, "For my nephew. He's fighting the same ghosts I did." Jamie wrapped the books with care, slipping in a free sticker that read, "You are enough." Watching him, I felt a tug low in my chest, not lust but something deeper, like roots seeking soil. My own ghosts lingered, though. I'd call Riley on the burner phone Jamie lent me, her voice a tether across the miles. "Town's the same," she'd say, "but Dad's asking about you. Says he's sorry, in his way." Sorry didn't erase the sermons, the way Pastor Hale had pulled me aside after youth group, his hand heavy on my shoulder. "God loves the sinner, Alex, but hate the sin. Pray on it." I'd nodded, throat tight, but prayers felt like lies when my heart beat for boys in Letterman jackets. Riley laughed it off, plotting my triumphant return one day, but I heard the strain, the way her friends had started whispering about her, too, for standing by the queer kid. Jamie noticed my silences, filling them with distractions. Street fairs where drag queens hawked glitter-dusted cupcakes, or late-night walks along the Hudson where the water whispered secrets back. One evening, as fireworks cracked over the river for some forgotten holiday, he turned to me, silhouette sharp against the bursts. "What's the worst thing they said about you back home?" His question hung like smoke, and I hesitated, the words bitter on my tongue. That I'd burn, that I'd drag everyone down with me. He didn't flinch, just reached for my hand, thumb tracing the knuckles like a map. "They were wrong, Alex. You're the spark that lights the dark." That touch lingered, electric and terrifying, stirring feelings I'd buried under bus seats and bad decisions. Jamie was out and proud, his life a tapestry of chosen family, barbecues in Central Park with trans activists, poetry slams where voices roared against the void. But I was still half-hid, scanning crowds for familiar faces from Willow Creek, convinced exposure would summon the pitchforks. Yet with him, the world softened at the edges, colors brighter, laughter real. We'd cook spaghetti in his tiny kitchen, sauce splattering like abstract art, debating everything from Stonewall to superheroes. Clark Kent's the ultimate queer icon. He'd argue, twirling noodles, hiding in plain sight, saving the world on the sly. I'd counter with Spider-Man, web-slinging through judgments, and we'd dissolve into fits, the kind that knits souls together. But cracks formed, subtle as fault lines. One night, after a shift, Jamie came home hollow-eyed, collapsing onto the couch with a beer he nursed like medicine. "Bad day," I ventured, perching on the armrest. He stared at the label, peeling it slow. "Customer. X actually." Threw my past in my face. Said I was trouble, always would be. His voice cracked, and I saw it then. The armor he'd worn so casually, dented and thin. I wanted to press, to map his scars, but he waved it off, forcing a grin. "Forget it. Tell me about that poem you wrote, the one about the creek." So I did, reciting lines I'd memorized in fear. And as his eyes softened, I wondered if he saw me, truly, or just a reflection of his own wreckage. Riley's calls grew sporadic, her texts laced with urgency. "Dad's sick, Alex. Heart stuff. Come home." The plea hit like a gut punch, Willow Creek's gravity yanking me back. I paced Jamie's apartment, floorboards creaking under indecision. Leaving meant facing the whispers, the stares that stripped you bare. Staying meant abandoning the family I'd stitched from apologies and alibis. Jamie found me there, staring out the fire escape at neon haze. "Go if you need to," he said softly, no judgment in his tone. "Roots run deep, even rotten ones." But as he pulled me into a hug, arms solid, breath warm against my temple, I felt the lie in his calm. He was holding back, too, a shadow in his gaze that whispered of losses I'd yet to unearth. The bus ride home was a descent into fog, Pennsylvania hills rolling like accusations. Willow Creek greeted me with autumn chill, leaves carpeting streets like faded confetti. Dad looked smaller in his hospital bed, monitors beeping a fragile rhythm, Mom's hand clasped in his like prayer. "Alexander," he rasped, eyes wet. "You came." The room smelled of antiseptic and regret, and as I sat, his grip tightened. I was wrong. About everything. God, he don't hate you. I did. The confession hung, raw and ragged, and for the first time, I saw the boy he'd been, scared, small town, loving in the only way he knew. Riley met me outside, her hug fierce, mascara streaked. "He's trying, Alex. We all are." We walked the creek trail, water murmuring over stones, and she spilled the updates. Pastor Hale's sermon softening, a new youth group for all God's children. But the town wasn't remade. At the diner, heads turned, murmurs rippling like wind. "Harper's boy," someone hissed, and Riley's jaw set. "Ignore him. You're home." Home. The word tasted like ash, sweet and choking. That night, alone in my old room, posters yellowed, bed unmade, I texted Jamie. "It's weird here. Miss the chaos." His reply came swift. "Chaos misses you. Kick some small-town ass." But Willow Creek had teeth. The next day, at the hardware store, Old Man Jenkins cornered me by the nails aisle. "Heard you been gallivanting in the city with that type." His eyes narrowed, voice low. "That Jamie kid? Stay clear. He's poison. Ran from his own mess years back. left a trail of broken hearts and bad blood. My stomach dropped. The name a thunderclap. Jamie? From here? The pieces slotted wrong. The compass tattoo, the Polaroid girl, his sister? I'd never asked, never dug. Jenkins leaned in, breath sour. Told his folks he was one of them queers. They shipped him off. Don't let him drag you under, boy. I fled to the creek, phone burning in my pocket, dialing Jamie with shaking fingers. Voicemail. Who are you? I whispered to the line, heart fracturing. The boy who'd saved me, the one who'd stayed, was the warning incarnate, the specter my town had conjured to keep us in line. Betrayal stung sharp, mingled with ache. Had he known? Followed me like fate's cruel joke? Riley found me there, soaked to the bone. What's wrong? She demanded, and I broke, words tumbling. Jenkins, the rumors, the lie of Jamie's strangers. She paled, gripping my arm. Jamie Ellis? Oh, Alex. He was my lab partner freshman year. Sweet kid. But yeah, they ran him out. Beatings, slurs. His dad. It was bad. The truth uncoiled like smoke, choking. Jamie hadn't chased me. The city had thrown us together, two exiles orbiting the same wound. But why hide it? Why the easy smiles, the hands held in half-light? I boarded the bus back to New York 2 days later, Dad's weak wave from the porch a silent plea for forgiveness. The ride north was torment, scenarios spinning, confrontation, flight, the slow bleed of trust. Hell's Kitchen loomed, lights mocking, and when I climbed those stairs, key trembling in the lock, Jamie was there, cooking stir-fry, humming off-key, normal as noon. You're back early, he said, plating food with a grin that faltered at my face. I dropped my bag, the thud echoing. Willow Creek. You never said. His chopsticks stilled, color draining. Said what? That you're from there. That they warned me about you. The words landed like blows, and he set the plate down, slow, eyes dropping to the floor. I figured you'd run again if you knew. Didn't want to lose this, you, before it started. Started. The admission hung, fragile as frost. What is this, Jamie? Pity? Some redemption arc for the town that broke you? He flinched, but his gaze lifted, fierce. No, it's real. I saw you that night, lost and lightning struck, and damn if it didn't feel like looking in a mirror. I stayed because you're the first person who's made staying worth it. The room shrank, air thick with unsaid storms. I wanted to rage, to shove him away like the town had shoved us both, but his hand found mine, calloused and sure. I lied by omission, Alex. I'm sorry, but I never lied about us. Us. The word bloomed, tentative, and in the silence, I stepped closer, foreheads touching, breaths sinking like a truce. We didn't speak of Willow Creek that night, but it seeped in, a third presence in the bed we shared, platonic, boundaries blurred by exhaustion. He told me fragments over weeks, the beatings from his father's belt, the night he confessed over dinner, plate shattering as his mom wept. They sent me to my aunt in Philly, then I scraped to New York. Reinvented. His voice was steady, but scars traced his knuckles, white against mine. I shared my own, the locker room taunts, the poem Dad burned without a word. Riley called with updates. Dad improving, town thawing slow. Come back for Thanksgiving, she urged. I glanced at Jamie, chopping veggies, and whispered, maybe, with backup. But prejudice doesn't die quiet. It was a crisp November afternoon when it reared, a letter from Pastor Hale, forwarded from home, sealed with church wax. Dear Alexander, rumors reach even here of your city's temptations. Return to the fold. God offers grace, but delay invites damnation. Enclosed was a pamphlet, Overcoming Unnatural Urges, pages dog-eared, underlined in red. Rage boiled, hot and holy, and I tore it to shreds, paper snowing the floor. Jamie found the mess, piecing it with quiet fury. Burn it, he said, lighting the stove. Flames devoured the lies, smoke curling like prayers unanswered. That fire forged something fiercer in us. We volunteered at the Open Pages outreach, manning a booth at Pride's Echo events, rainbow flags snapping in wind, kids clutching pamphlets with wide eyes. One boy, no older than 15, approached hesitant, voice a whisper. Is it okay to feel this? Jamie knelt, eye level. More than okay. It's you. Watching, I felt the pull solidify, not just attraction, but alliance, a love born of shared survival. We'd walk home hand in hand now. Unhidden, the city's pulse our heartbeat. But Willow Creek called insistent, Thanksgiving looming like judgment. Riley's texts pleaded, Dad wants to meet Jamie. Says it's time. Dread knotted my gut, visions of pitchforks and pleas. Jamie, though, squared his shoulders. I'm in. Can't run forever. The bus south was tense, our knees brushing, silences heavy with what-ifs. Willow Creek unfolded unchanged, diner neon buzzing, creek murmuring judgment. Dad waited on the porch, thinner but standing, Mom beside with pie cooling on the sill. Welcome, he said to Jamie, hand extended. No flinch, no frost. Dinner was a minefield. Small talk skimming politics, faith, the weather. Then Riley, ever the spark, asked, So, Jamie, tell us about the city lights. He did, voice steady. Tales of parades and poetry, not the beatings or the belt. Dad listened, fork paused, and when Jamie mentioned the bookstore, his eyes softened. Sounds like a place for stories. Good ones. Later, by the creek, Dad pulled me aside, voice gravel. He's solid, son. Like you. The absolution landed soft, a weight lifting, but as we walked back, headlights swept the road. Pastor Hale's truck, idling ominous. He stepped out, Bible in hand, eyes on Jamie like a curse. Ellis boy, back to poison the well. The air crackled, family frozen on the porch. Jamie stepped forward, calm as steel. Not poison, Pastor. Just water, clear now. Hale's face twisted, words venom. Sodom's spawn, both of you. Repent or rot. Dad's voice cut through, firm. Enough, Hale. My home, my rules. Leave. The pastor sputtered, truck peeling away in gravel spray, but the damage lingered, a chill settling. Inside, Mom poured coffee, hands shaking. He's scared, she murmured. Like we were. Jamie met my eyes, a question, and I nodded, stay, fight, together. Thanksgiving broke us open. Over pie, stories spilled. Dad's own youth, a crush on the farmhand hushed by fear. Mom's sister, lost to AIDS in the 80s, unspoken grief. Jamie shared his aunt's letters, yellowed with love. Riley confessed her bisexuality, hidden till now. Laughter mingled with tears, the table a battlefield turned banquet. But Hale's shadow loomed. Next morning, flyers on every door. Protect our youth from deviancy. The town split, whispers fracturing neighbors. Jenkins confronted Dad at the store. You're harboring sin. Dad's reply, I'm harboring family. We rallied, small but fierce. Riley organized a meeting at the community center. LGBT allies, skeptics, seekers. Jamie spoke first, voice ringing. I ran once. Won't again. This town's my root, rotten or not. Applause scattered, then swelled, hands raised in truce. I followed, heart hammering. Love isn't sin. It's salvation. Questions flew, hurtful, hopeful, and as we fielded them, something shifted, air lighter. But twists weighed in the wings. The call came at midnight, Riley's voice shattered. Hale's rallying a protest. At the store. Tomorrow. Dawn brought trucks circling, signs bobbing. God hates fags. Dad stood firm behind the counter, Mom beside, us in the window like sentinels. Chants rose, Hale megaphone blared scripture, crowd swelling with faces I'd known since kindergarten. Fear clawed my throat, but Jamie's hand in mine anchored. We've got this, he whispered. Then, the surge, a bottle shattered the glass, shards raining like judgment. Chaos erupted, shouts, shoves, sirens wailing distant. Dad shoved me back, glass slicing his arm. Mom screamed, Riley dialing frantic. Jamie lunged, tackling a masked figure. Jenkins' son, eyes wild. Fists flew, blood slicked the floor, and in the melee, Hale's megaphone cracked static. See? Devil's work. Police arrived, dispersing the mob, but damage etched deep. Store gutted, Dad bandaged, town teetering. In the ER waiting room, silence crushed. Why us? Riley sobbed. Jamie, lips split, squeezed my hand. Because we're the change they fear. Recovery was ragged. Insurance crawled, repairs piecemeal, but allies emerged. The librarian with donations, the diner owner with free meals. Dad hired a queer carpenter from Philly, boards nailed with quiet pride. Nights, Jamie and I mended on the porch, stars indifferent overhead. Think it'll stick? I asked, head on his shoulder. The town? Us. He kissed my temples soft. Us, always. The town. It'll try. Love deepened in those fractures. Conversations till dawn, dreams shared like blueprints. Riley dated a girl from the next county. Braver now. Mom baked rainbow cookies, tentative olive branch. Winter thawed to spring, Willow Creek blooming wary. Hale's church thinned, his sermons echoed hollow. One Sunday, he appeared at our door, uninvited, hat in hand. I was wrong, he muttered, eyes down. Lost my way, hating to heal. Dad invited him in, coffee poured, words weaving fragile peace. Not forgiveness full, but start. Jamie watched skeptical, but nodded when I did. People change, he said later, by the creek. Slow as seasons. Yet surprises lurked. A letter from Jamie's mom. First in years, postmarked Willow Creek. Saw you on the news. Proud, son. Come home. Tears traced his cheeks, joy and terror twined. We planned the visit, nerves electric. The farmhouse stood weathered, porch sagging, but her hug swallowed him whole. His dad, grayer, extended a hand. Sorry, don't fix it. But it start. Dinner was quiet miracles, stories swapped, laughs tentative. As we drove away, Jamie exhaled, roots regrow. Back in New York, life layered. Jamie's promotion to manager, my enrollment in community college. Lit classes dissecting hearts like ours. Summers, we'd straddle worlds. Pride floats and creek picnics, hands linked across divides. Conflicts ebbed, but echoes lingered. A slur scrawled on our door. A family dinner soured by uncle's ignorance. Each tested us, forging resilience. Riley visited, her girl in tow, four of us painting the town. Literally, murals on the open pages walls. Vines twisting through thorns, blooms defiant. The climax crested that July 4th. Fireworks over the Hudson mirroring Willow Creek's own display. We'd gathered both families, improbable fusion, at a park barbecue. Laughter flowed, beers clinked, but tension simmered when Hale arrived, unbidden, sign in hand. Peace, not pride. Murmurs rippled, Dad rising, but Jamie stepped forward, voice steady. Join us, Pastor. Eat. Talk. Hale hesitated, then dropped the sign, plate filled. Conversation stuttered, then flowed, his losses, our loves. As rockets burst, he raised a glass. To new lights. In the afterglow, Jamie pulled me aside, fireflies dancing. Ran from rumors once. Stayed for you. I kissed him then, full and fearless, world fading to us. Love isn't absence of storm, it's anchor in the gale. We'd overcome whispers, wounds, the weight of worlds. And in that staying, we found home. Not a place, but a pulse, shared and sure. The integration deepened, threads weaving tighter. Back in the city, Jamie and I navigated the post-Willow haze, our bond a quiet revolution. Mornings started with coffee on the fire escape, legs tangled under a shared blanket, city hum a lullaby. He'd trace patterns on my palm. Constellations, he claimed, while I read aloud from Baldwin, words like balm on old hurts. You're my prophet, he'd tease, but his eyes held reverence, the kind that made vulnerability feel like victory. College swallowed afternoons, lectures on queer theory, essays dissecting desire's defiance. Professors with lived scars nodded at my references to small-town exile, one even sharing her own flight from Bible Belt chains. Evenings, we'd reconvene at the open page, shells a sanctuary. Customers became constants. The barista with top surgery scars, inking tattoos of triumph. The elder couple, married post-Obergefell, hands linked like manifestos. Their stories stitched ours into something larger, a quilt of queer endurance. But tension threaded undercurrents. Jamie's past resurfaced in fragments, a nightmare where belts cracked like thunder, waking him sweat-soaked, my arms his harbor. It fades, he'd murmur, but I saw the flinch when sirens wailed too close. My own demons prowled, dreams of lockers slamming, Dad's Bible thumping like a gavel. Therapy helped, sessions in a rainbow-lit office where words unpacked like luggage long carried. You're not broken, the counselor affirmed. You're building. Riley's updates painted Willow Creek's slow metamorphosis. A GSA club at the high school, rainbow stickers on lockers, Dad sponsoring a booth at the county fair, pamphlets on allyship beside hammer sets. He's owning it, she said over video call, her apartment a riot of plants and posters. Her girl, Sam, waved from the background, short-cropped hair, smile sharp as wit. Bring the boys next time, Sam urged. We'll corrupt properly. We did. Labor Day weekend. Bus rumbling south with coolers of craft beer and tentative hope. The creek sparkled under sun, picnic blankets a patchwork of progress. Families mingled, mom's potato salad beside auntie's deviled eggs, laughter bridging gaps. Jamie tossed a frisbee with Riley's cousins, ease masking old aches, while I helped Dad grill, smoke curling confessions. Proud of you, son, he said, flipping burgers. Of us. The words landed solid, roots sinking deeper. Yet prejudice persists, sly as shadows. A cousin cornered Jamie by the cooler. Heard you were. You know. That true. Jamie's jaw tightened, but he met the gaze. Yeah, and I'm here, same as you. The boy blushed, mumbling retreat, but seed planted, curiosity cracking concrete. Night fell with S-morays and stars, guitars strumming folk tunes laced with longing. As embers died, Jamie leaned in. This feels like winning. October brought chills, literal and not. New York's wind whipped secrets from alleys, and one found us. An envelope at the bookstore, anonymous, photos spilling. Us at the creek, hands linked, pride parade shots, kisses captured candid. Accompanying note, Willow knows. Run while you can. Panic spiked, heart-hammering recall of Hale's glare, Jenkins' sneer. Exile's revenge. Jamie breathed, crumpling the paper. We scanned crowds for spies, trust fracturing like ice. Riley confirmed, Hale's circle. They're watching. Calls flew, Dad raging protection, Mom praying aloud. We fortified, locks changed, routes varied, but fear festered, intimacy strained. Nights, we'd hold vigil, backs to walls, whispers plotting return. Fight or flee? I asked, voice small. Jamie's answer, fight. Together. We rallied allies. The open page hosted a forum, surveillance and solidarity, voices amplifying against the void. A lawyer friend drafted cease and desist, but the photos circulated online, hashtags twisting truth, Willowicked. The backlash crested mid-month, a viral storm. Willow Creek trended, split screens, protest footage versus our faces, comments a cesspool of slurs and sympathy. Dad called, voice steel, stores vandalized again. But we're standing. Riley organized counter, a live-stream town hall, faces pixelated but fierce. This is home, she declared. All of it. Donations poured, walls rebuilt virtual and real. In the eye, Jamie and I retreated to the Hudson, stones skipping like skipped heartbeats. They can't touch this, he said, arm around me. Us. The desecration demanded distance, but drew us closer, conversations carving deeper, vulnerabilities bared like veins. I confessed fears of inadequacy, hymn of abandonment, promises exchanged, vows unspoken but sealed in salt air. November's frost mirrored resolve. Thanksgiving redux, smaller, safer. In New York, Riley and Sam flying up, families fused in a rooftop feast. Turkeys carved, toasts raised to absentees and arrivals. Dad videoed in, bandaged but beaming. Love wins, kids. As snow dusted, we danced slow to jazz from a boombox, bodies sinking survival. Love, I learned, thrives in tension, taut as bowstrings, arrows aimed at dawn. Winter gripped, but warmth bloomed internal. Holiday markets glittered, us hawking queer lit with eggnog cheer. A kid bought Giovanni's room, eyes alight. For me, Jamie signed it, be brave. Echoes of our youth. Christmas, willow-bound, gifts wrapped in redemption, scarves knitted by Mom, tools engraved by Dad. The farmhouse glowed, trees strung with lights like hope. Jamie's parents joined, awkward orbit turning embrace. His mom hugged tight. My boy. Dad's toast. To Sakan's chances. But Yuletide hides thorns. Hale's card arrived, olive branch or ploy. Peace at Christmas. Meat. Skepticism soured eggnog, but curiosity won. Coffee shop neutral. He sat humbled, lines etched deeper. Lost followers. Found faith anew. Apologies tumbled, halting. Harmed you. Sorry. Not absolution instant, but fracture mending. Prove it, Jamie challenged. Hale nodded. Will. New Year dawned defiant. Resolutions. Community gardens in Willow, literacy drives in Hell's Kitchen. Us, we vowed presence. Unapologetic, intertwined. Spring teased early, cherry blossoms confetti to change. Riley's wedding plans buzzed. Small, queer, creekside. You two next? She teased. Jamie's wink. Watch us. Yet twists turn. May brought Jamie's ex, an apparition from Philly days, doorstep unannounced. Missed you, she said, eyes pleading, history heavy. Bisexual bridges burned. She'd fled his coming out, now seeking salvage. Jealousy jabbed, irrational, her touch ghosts on his skin. Just talk, he assured, but nights cooled, doubts drifting. I paced Riley's counsel. Trust the build. Confrontation brewed over diner fries. Why now? I demanded. She shrugged. Growth. But he's yours. Jamie clarified later, arms open. Past museum. Your gallery. Relief flooded, but lesson lingered. Love's not possession, but permission to stay. Summer scorched, pride of Phoenix. Floats thundered, us marching mid-pack, signs aloft. Rumors can't chain us. Willow contingent, Dad waving, Riley chanting, blurred lines to unity. Post-parade, rooftop party. Toast to trials past, futures forged. As confetti rained, Jamie knelt, rings simple silver. Stay? Forever. Tears blurred. Yes, a whisper, world erupting cheers. The wedding fused worlds. Creek banks lined rainbow. Vows exchanged under oaks ancient. Riley radiant, Sam smirking, us best men, ties crooked proud. Reception danced dawn, speeches stitching scars to stars. Hale attended, quiet corner. Not exchanged, bridge tentative. Years layered. Bookstore expanded, college degrees framed. Willow visited often, Dad's store ally hub. Jamie's parents relocated near, dinner's domino of dialogues. Conflicts came, health scares, job losses, but weathered, stronger. Decade on, Creekside, grandkids tumbling, Riley's, adopted bright, us graying graceful. Ran once, Jamie murmurs, hand in mine. Stayed always. Sunset guilds, rumors dust, love eternal.